gotten it taken apart. The intake all the way off. Looking in here, looks pretty greasy. Oh, there's a bolt that I dropped. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pressure wash everything in here. Get it cleaned up better like how it was before. We're almost there. Next up is the transmission. Take the timing apart so we can actually fix the leak. Here. All that there. This is leaking all over the bottom of the engine. Making a mess. Just tore the front end off and pulled out the radiator. Got all the timing off. Took the entire intake and wiring harness off. And got the fuel or exhaust off. It's out. I just gotta leave it in here for the pressure washing. Took the God, look, this is why I'm trying to clean this car. These are that's an IS300 intake valve cover, and that is a 1998 GS300 exhaust or valve cover. Over here we've got IS300 radiator mount, a Toyota Supra or SC300 non-VVTi 2JZGE water neck here on the top right. This is a VVTi hard line for the vacuum lines. It's an oil block off of any 2JZ, but this is particularly a VVTi model. We've got this one from the IS300. We've got this one from a SC300 or 2JZGE Supra. Same thing with the water neck over there. This one just doesn't have the spot for the VVTi to mount onto. And this is from a IS300. You can even see me in there. All right. So here I have a 1998 GS300 wide pipe. I chose this because this line here is a hard line versus the one on the IS300. It's a removable plastic piece that may or may not have some reliability issues, but I chose to go with that one. This is a Toyota Supra 1994 NA plenum. You can tell by the dot on the back because VVTIs have a V. It's like a square with a V engraved in it. Another way to tell is the size of the holes on the plenum. Once I get the other plenum side by side, I'll be able to show that. I do have a picture also to show. Also polished that and the rod that goes to it, the vacuum thing. So that's all been polished up. All these parts, except for, I want to say some of the stuff on this table, some of that stuff was never on my car in the past. Those weren't valve covers, but this intake was on my car in the previous GS300. Moving on, I've got a dipstick, it's polished, and then this is an SC300 water neck. They're all different from the Supra to the SC and GS, IS because of the way the chassis is designed and dimensions of it. So this part might be a little longer, this part might be a little shorter, but the distance between this connection or that bolt location and the flange is always the same, no matter how it's designed. And over there, I've got the throttle body and the engine inject intake. I don't know how to pronounce their name. Still working on that. Got another set of ones of radiator mounts right there. But I gotta polish that throttle body. That's the one that came off the car. That's gonna be matching up to this one. It had gotten some chemicals on it in the past, so I took it off and repolished it. Got the water pump out, full assembly. So next, we're gonna get rid of some of that dirt that's right there behind the water pump. You can see that, all that oil that's coming off. And down here, my oil block off of the motor mount. Get all that cleaned up. Then I'll take the cams off, the valve covers, take the gears, and get the seals out. And then we can start putting all the new stuff in the car. So at this point now, I'm going to pop the valve covers back off. Make sure there's no water on anything, but I'll pull those cam caps off. They're really easy to get off, and get the seals out. And here I have every gasket that I'm going to be using, and a few other things as well. So I'll go in there and find them. I'll go in there and find them and see what we're working with. So in case you were wondering of the part numbers, I have them right here. Both of the cam seals are the same part number, and then here's the valve cover gaskets part number. This is the intake, and this one, I can't tell. Yep, but those are the gaskets right there. Yep. One more time. Okay, so I'm gonna get those in, and then I'm gonna get the new valve covers prepped. And so I've got a new one here. This is from Gates. You can see there, completely new. You can see there. Yeah. So here's the part number for it. Here's the ones that go right there. Yeah. See that? Yep. And then the other gasket here goes towards the block. Okay. You can pause that and take that information down if you need to. This is the dipstick. The gaskets is at 96721-19070. And then the other part number is the top and bottom O-rings. So like the one that goes here on the block, and then the one that's up top just there on the dipstick itself. So that's the gaskets for that. And then I have a water bypass pipe here, and we're going to be installing a ASIN thermostat and water pump. And I have all the ASIN gaskets here. That goes to this. Those two things are polished. We'll get this all assembled and put the bypass pipe on it and see if we can fit it in there. The bypass pipe is from an SC300, so it's a little shorter than the IS300 and GS300s. Theirs has like a flange on it and a ground attached to it. So I'm going to see if I can get this thing in there and see how I can adjust the heater core hose. And that'll determine if I'm going to have to resand the one that's on the car or put the one that I have on. This is where I've gotten so far. I've got a nice long block without the alternator, thermostat housing. I just need to get, at this point on the intake side, I just need to get the the wiring harness in here. Then in the front of the motor, I'm waiting on the exhaust side of the motor in order to finish that. So at this point, I could actually lay the harness in here. I think that's what I'll end up doing before the sun sets, because I'm going to go ahead and close everything down for day 2. I was really hoping to get everything finished, but it looks like I got close. Yeah, it looks like I got really close. It's been 3 years since I've seen my motor look this chrome. It's cool. So let's keep pushing. Here I'm going to be rebuilding the emissions and vacuum lines. I've already done the booster, cleaned it up, and got brand new lines on that one. So here's a polished line there, and here is the L-shaped one that goes to the Y pipe, and it would sit, it's that one there. Looks like someone's got some aftermarket stuff on there. Here's the part number right there. And for the other side, for that U-shaped one, there's a part number. Pretty much right off the car. So you see how that's going. Just in case if you need to know how that goes. For the runners, I'm be using Toyota's gasket there. There's the part number, if I can get it to focus. And here's the intake. Completely cleaned up, iced out. Just now, got to put the intake on it. I put that as a 0. And then for that one. There. And then for the one that goes to the cylinder head. I think I have the fuel injectors on backwards. Because it's firing. I need to check the firing order on the plugs. Or it's stuttering like that. So I have gray, brown, brown, gray. Hey, I gotta figure out which ones are which. Other than that, look like it wants to fire up. Everything else should be correct. So let's just figure out that injector order. For coolant, I'm using a combination. I mean, to be honest, I probably should use the same one, but this is what I have. I have an Asen pink OEM, and then I got Lexus from the dealership pink. So it's literally should be the same stuff. Finally, in the car. So there's no coolant in this car. The transmission's not even got fluid going to the cooler. Am I burning something? To be honest, that looks like the I think that's just a dirty bolt. And then we've got smoke coming off of the number 3. There might be an exhaust leak in that thing. There ain't nothing back there. Yeah, ain't nothing back there. I make sure to clean everything back there. I pressure washed everything. No wiring is low enough to be, so you can see that. Yeah, there's no wiring there. Yeah, that's what I was expecting to happen the first time I plugged everything in. Now that everything is put back together, got the front end on, the wiring harness is in the car. Now I can kind of go over things and kind of explain some things here. So one of the first issues that I faced with dealing with the harness was the harness itself. I've yet to actually go and investigate what's going on with it. Probably here in the next couple of days or weeks, I'll get around to getting in there and seeing what was the issue, what was making the car not function right. So maintenance wise, with how is it living with polished? So I've had this on here for a couple of days. I haven't really put a whole lot of miles on the car. You can see it's still reasonably clean. Um, you can't touch anything. Like for instance, we'll come over here to the valve cover, and it's kind of hazy there, but you can see how it's clear and then hazy. I touched it with a rag, trying to clean out the valve cover. It's a little foggy there. There's even a little bit of hazing just from kind of touching it. I kind of touched it here. You can see, yeah, you can see those little lines. That's not scratches. Those are just marks. So I've got to use really clean towels. You can't touch it ever. If you touch it, it's gonna get nasty. So it's a little extra work. Nothing I'm not afraid of. I mean, if it gets dirty, it gets dirty. I've had one of these before on my GS300 for 3 years. I drove around with a polished intake on there, and it's a lot of extra work, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. So all in all, if this is something you're interested in doing, far as the polishing goes, I know I was unsuccessful with presenting you a actual functioning tucked harness in this video series, but continuing on, there will be a tucked harness that goes in this car. So if you guys like what you saw, please stick around, subscribe with me, and tune in for the next one, man. I really appreciate you guys. This is the Ballad of Imports.